let's play a dead game. Now, this is a video about a single skill. Well, a single skill and a heart. I'm in front of the heart, but it's going to spotlight the single skill first. And this single skill, both in its common usage, like as an actual attack skill, and its potential versatility, the kind of things that the skill is used for that isn't necessarily an attack. The subtleties and multiple aspects of the skill not only define sort of the flaws of Guild Wars 2's current combat design, but can also, combined with this heart, can also give us a glimpse into what Guild Wars 2 combat could be. Maybe what it even should be. But in any case, though, this one skill that we're going to be taking a look at is Guardian Greatsword 3. Leap of Faith. And I've been leveling the Guardian. I mean, I'm here, I'm not like actually full level. And that's been a whole awful experience in itself, but leveling. But in any case, ooh, not dead game. I kind of forgot that they merged servers, so that's, oh, he's gone. Well, oh, there he is. Anyway. So, Guardian Greatsword 3. Leap of Faith is a versatile skill, like I said. It can be used without a target, but it requires one to actually hit reliably. But because of that fact that it's a travel skill that doesn't actually require a target, it's found a nice little lovely place in my heart, and in many people's hearts. I mean, especially when it comes to PvE, because getting around is one of the biggest... Moving around everywhere just quickly as possible is one of the main not attractions of PvE, but it's something that everyone really wants. It's why leveling Mesmer is such a chore, because they don't have swiftness at all, but really, or at least not sustainable swiftness. But in any case, so we look at the skill, and it's a travel skill in one way. And the way to make it travel is to animation cancel it when traveling from high elevation to low elevation, like so. Look at that! That was so pretty. See that arc? That was very natural looking, right? Like, it almost felt like that was just normal. Like, that's what... It almost felt, rather, that's what normally what would happen if you used the skill and just didn't do anything. But I had to animation cancel. I swapped weapons, if you noticed, in midair. And I swapped weapons because that was the way that I did on Engineer a lot. I would... when I was doing Engineer before... Leveling Engineer, like, before Jump Shot was updated, or whatever you want to call it, or the animation was smoothed out, it was a lot easier to cancel that animation. You can still do it now, jump shot cancel, or cancel the animation on jump shot, but it's a little bit harder because the animation happens faster now. In any case, though, it also works on Acid Bomb. Acid Bomb actually works a lot better. You can animation cancel to the point where you can Acid Bomb and not even move, actually. You just kind of float in the air and then fall back down. But in any case, one way to do that is swapping weapons. But let's look at what happens when we don't swap weapons. It just kind of plummeted there. I mean, we were just sort of pretending that I had momentum that first time when I canceled the weapon, when I canceled the attack. I had momentum. I didn't have momentum. We were just pretending. It was a lie all along. But in any case, you see that that's an issue. That canceling the animation, or rather the fact that there's no attack, because what actually made me stop moving was the fact that there's an attack coded into the end of this skill. When I reach a valid target, or when I reach the end of the valid travel distance on the skill, I attempt to attack. And that's what freezes me in place and stops any sort of further progress, even if I'm not actually on the ground anymore. Now, a second thing is, because, like I said before, even though you can use this skill freely in the open world without a target, you need one in order to hit reliably with it. Like, I'm not going to... It's going to be a bit of a... It's going to be something special if, like, I don't use a target and this guy's moving about on me and I just leap in target direction and I hit him from 600 range. That's going to be quite the skill shot. But it's very unreliable to do that, and especially because if you don't have a target, there's no way for the skill to say, hey, stop right here, because the guy's in front of you. In any case, the skill requires a target to hit reliably. This poses a number of issues. One issue is that selecting a target in its own right can be kind of a chore, just an unnecessary pain in the neck. In PvE, we have many enemies, and maybe I want to, like, target one enemy as opposed to another enemy, but there's maybe like 5 enemies attacking me in a big cluster at the same time. It gets difficult to select targets efficiently, properly, and quickly, more importantly. And tabbing like that is ineffective oftentimes. We have tabs, we have bindable skills for target closest and target farthest, but even those can, with all the movement in this game, even those can become very unreliable. And in PvP, we have all this AI cluttering up the combat field most days. We got we have Minion Mancers, we have Spirit Rangers, we have like Engineer drops a supply crate and suddenly there's turrets everywhere. It's kind of just obnoxious when we have to deal with all that AI clutter. So, not only is selecting a target sometimes difficult, but even like changing targets. Like maybe I want to blind someone who's coming up behind me. So I have to detarget this guy, select that guy, and then use the skill. While that is possible, and it's not necessarily terribly difficult, it could be done much easier. The process, rather, of juggling targets could be made much easier. More importantly, another issue is the issue of residual targets. Let's say I have this target selected, or I've selected it accidentally, or I forgot I had him selected and I didn't deselect. And now I want to use this skill to leap over this cliff, this little ravine. Oh, too bad, I forgot that I selected that target, so I'm now, and I attacked him because I swapped weapons. But the point is though that too bad, you targeted that guy, and because of that residual targeting, you now have to leap directly back in that guy's direction. Not only can this get you killed because you're leaping to a target that maybe you don't want to target, but there's also the idea of maybe, well, let's say that this whole area right here, like the path is the only solid ground and everything else is just like a pit of death. And I just have this guy who's like over on another path of ground that's valid, but I just want to move forward down this path. And I accidentally have him selected. I want to just jump down this path straight ahead. But no, I go in that direction because I accidentally had him targeted. That poses a lot of different issues. And the reason why I've brought all of us here today is because this heart, by itself, kind of resolves all of those issues just simultaneously. Well, this heart plus maybe a little bit of creativity. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. In any case, we go over here, Veska Bladesinger. And she talks about bugs. So this is the Charandis Estate waypoint, and it's the Charandis Estate with all the cows and whatnot. And this heart, you can do a bunch of things like watch cows or whatever, but one of the things is we want to catch bugs. And let's go for the easy mode. And now, once you talk to her, you can pick up one of the bug catching jars. And these two skills are meant for catching bugs. But look at this 3 skill. When you actually want to offer the bugs to cattle, you have to press the 3 skill. And look at this reticle. Look at this reticle. Where else do we find this reticle? Anywhere in the game? Anywhere. In this entire video game. Where do we find this? And look at that. Look how smooth that is. I don't have to have a target. I don't need a target. I know exactly where I'm going, more importantly. And it's very responsive. 20 points to the guy that says Whirlwind Attack, and another 20 points to the guy that also said Fiery Whirl on the Fiery Greatsword. So we have Fiery Greatsword 3, and Warrior Greatsword 3, I believe. Yes, 3. The only other places in this entire game where this mechanic exists, where we're suddenly free of the awful targeting system, and we're just put in this world where we simply have to understand where the target is. We don't have to worry about selecting a target. We don't have to worry about it playing the game for us. We can actually play the game. I'm playing the game. I'm not letting the game play itself for me by relying on sticky targeting. So, we come back to Leap of Faith. Can you imagine a Leap of Faith where it's a 2-part chain skill? The first chain skill is what we have right now. Except, it's simply a leap. It's a 0 cast time, so there's no actual channel time when you're leaping. And it has this reticle. When you let go of the reticle in the target direction, you simply do the leap. The second chain skill occurs when you're leaping, and that chain skill is attack the ground beneath you. So now what you're doing is instead of letting the game play for you, you're deciding, free of the targeting system, where you want to go. Releasing the skill because you know that there's an enemy right there, There's an enemy right here. There's an enemy right over there. There's an enemy right over here. There's an enemy right over there. I'm right on top of him. And along that track that you've determined for yourself, that you want to go this way, along that straight line track, then you hit the skill and you deal your damage in an AoE radius right beneath you. The skill is no longer done for you. You have some reward when striking opponents. Your opponents can juke you a little bit better. There's a little more reward for enemies actually juking you in the game, as opposed to right now. Like if you use the skill and then an enemy moves, you sort of just track him magically through the air because the game does it for you. But more importantly, most importantly of all, it gives some ownership of the skill to the player. It not only makes it easier for the player to just use the skill, because we don't have to worry about the targeting system all the time, because I don't need to have this guy selected now, or like I don't need to suddenly change to this guy because I want him to be blinded, or maybe I want to swap back to this guy so I have to select him. I don't have to do that. I don't have to click all these buttons and click all these people. I simply just know that maybe I have this guy selected, but I want to attack this cow now. I simply just move the reticle behind me, and I'm off. It makes it easier to use the skill. But it also makes for a little bit more skillful play. And like I said before, it gives a sense of ownership. It gives a sense of reward. People feel good when they hit that kind of skill. It's a skill shot. It's something you actually successfully tracked in a target. You tracked the target, and you hit that target. Not because the computer did it for you, but because you actually understood where the target was going to be maybe a half second from now, or 1 second from now, depending on how far away you were from it. Now, can we extrapolate that? Can we think of all the other skills that just require targets for them to be good? Or maybe skills that just force you to travel a certain distance before doing something. Things like maybe burning speed. Burning speed. Can you imagine if burning speed had a directional reticle like what we have at this... I'm lagging.
Oh, stomach.
Can we imagine if burning speed had this reticle? Okay, so leap of faith, burning speed, eviscerate, heart seeker. Can you see all of the skills that could just be made into actual skill shots instead of the game just playing it all for you? Can you imagine how like it would feel good to do that? So before this video gets too long, because I don't know how long YouTube's gonna let me make videos to upload, but in any case, before this video gets too long, I'm gonna post some things in the thread that this is going to belong to, and this is all just up for discussion. This is just possibilities, because this is coded into the game. Look at this; it's in the video game, man. It's not just in the video game. Players technically have this skill. I mean, like if you roll Elementalist with Fiery Greatsword, or if you roll Greatsword Warrior, you can use this mechanic, but only then. Only those two classes, those two weapon sets, get to use that beautiful mechanic. And there's something else to be said about like evading while doing this or anything like that, but the point is though that this is a possibility. And I know that there's a few more subtleties regarding the mechanic and regarding this like kind of idea actually working within the game, but these are discussions for the thread. And I already have various replies for sort of questions like that, but feel free to ask them anyway, because it's for discussion. This is for people to know about this stuff, because apparently no one either knows or no one uses the imagination they've been given, or people just maybe don't want a skillful game. Maybe they don't. If that's the question, then I'll just go back to like playing TF2 or something else, but I'm just looking at this game and there's so many possibilities. This game could be so good if we just embrace some of the more simple, simple, player-friendly, free from targeting mechanics. Alright, well, until next time, this game is not as dead as I thought it was, because Mega servers, trademark.